Timber Outdoors podcast. Today I got myself, Kevin Twilliger,
and AJ Latino.
Today I think we're going to go over kind of what we wear on the outside, not necessarily our clothes or what's inside the pack, maybe a little here and there, just like kind of our backpacks, our vinyl harnesses and stuff that we're always taking with us, whether it's early season, late season. Our packs are going to be the same all the way around, the way we run them.
Yeah, more the accessories and stuff that go with the packs that make the day-to-day more bearable. Organization, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of how we like ours configured, what we like and what we dislike about this pack, the pack configuration, what pack we're running. We might have already covered that in previous podcasts, but
yeah.
Me and AJ have since switched packs from the last gear video you've seen us do. So this is kind of a new video for you guys if you're following along on the YouTube.
Also, we're going to touch base on vinyl harnesses and kind of the same concept there with this video. So, you want to start it off?
Yeah, so we're both running the Stone Glacier Sky 5900. It's been a great pack, so I've been running it. It's 223?
Yeah.
Going on, this will be the third season with it.
That's when I started with it as well.
I switched right after our bear hunt in 2023.
Yeah, I did 2022, so, because I ran about a year before you.
Yeah, no, not a year. We bought about the same time. You ran this pack on the bear hunt
season.
because you were running my wife's pack, which this is my wife's pack, and I bought her a new one. So I got the hand-me-down. She's got the new one. Imagine that. So, my favorite thing about this pack is it compacts next to nothing, as you can see Anthony's pack here.
Yeah, I got mine. I mean, I'm not all cinched down, but you lock it down and there's really very little thickness and girth. And the way the straps are configured, you can kind of push stuff up and down and make it so you don't have weird bulges and stuff. It keeps the contents contained pretty well when fully compressed.
Yeah, and
running a day setup.
Yeah, see, his is pretty much fully compressed, pretty much empty, and mine, for the sake of the video, for those following along, it's pretty much my day pack. I got a little bit of stuff in the lid, just toilet paper, in reach, gloves, some other things, and not quite sure what I have inside of the pack, but it's just enough where it's like, this is what my pack would look like if I was day hunting. Trekking poles, water bottle, something like that. But his is without the lid. I have the lid configured on mine. It's easy to take on and off, which is a big positive with this pack, is how easy the lid is to come on and off. Show you that
two
right
buckles.
now. Just two buckles in the front, clip here, unclip both sides.
Two straps.
And then there's two straps here. Literally just pull them. Get that untucked and just come right off. Both sides.
For my day setup, I take my lid off and I run it in what Stone calls Vivi mode. It just compresses down a little bit more, and I don't have floppy lid syndrome and stuff like that. So I prefer to run it that way for the day hunts and stuff like that. And we kind of use these are all around bags. We typically, if we're doing backcountry stuff, we don't typically pack in like 10 days like some of these guys. We typically will run 4 days worth of food and gear, and maybe 5, go in, check out an area, and then from there we'll determine whether we're going to stay in that area or move on when we do a resupply.
Yeah, and this pack, that's what it's good for. It's for day packs. I would say 3, 5 is kind of pushing it, but you can get 5 out of it. When I run this thing for 4 days, I always wish I had extra room. but I don't want any extra room because then I pack more stuff. It's just perfect size for me for the gear that we run. With 4 days of food, I'm got 3 to 4 bags in here, and then 1 in the lid, and I'm pretty content for food bag wise.
Yeah, on the backpacking trip, I pretty much run the same way. You know, a lot of these guys say they get away with 10 days worth of food and all that in one of these bags. I don't know how they're doing it. We got some pretty lightweight, minimalist stuff, not super bulky, and they just seem full.
Yeah, honestly,
I mean, they're not like bursting at the seams, but they're definitely
yeah.
stuffed.
Honestly, I've been thinking about getting a bigger bag because there's frames and bags are modular, so you can buy other bags to put on this frame. For saying we want to pack in for 10 days and then spike camp for another 3 days away from our main camp, something like that. There's no possible way I'm carrying more gear unless I'm utilizing my load shelf. So then, if that happens, we kill something, we want to go all the way out back to the truck instead of making multiple trips. Bigger bag is going to save me there instead of using my load shelf for food that I'm going to have to pack out anyway. And that's kind of what I'm thinking for just longer trips.
I know myself, generally in the shoulder seasons or, you know, spring bear, stuff like that, where you're carrying a little bit more gear, I kind of would like to have a little bit more room, not just room, but access. So one of the things I've been kind of milling around is I think I'm going to buy an access pouch, which is like 900 extra cubic inches that'll go on the front of this bag and kind of give me just enough for like puffy gear, rain gear, get some of those quick grab items more accessible and give me a little bit more storage that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so we already kind of talked about the lid, but for this bag, one of my favorite features of this bag is this horseshoe pocket right here to get in the main part of the bag. As you can see, you know, so looking in here, I got like a coffee cup, jet boil, game bags, first aid kit, a couple bottles of water, and then a ditty bag in here full of, I think there's knives and fire starters and all kinds of stuff in there that I normally keep in there.
General possibles.
Yeah, general possibles. But this is so nice, you can lay your pack down, stuff it, or just get into it real quick without tearing your lid apart,
Yep.
pulling your bag all the way up, and
Going from the top access, and then, you know, inevitably what you want is buried at the bottom. Again, I love that feature to this bag. I think it's phenomenal. I like having that kind of access. In my bag, the majority of the time, I also have the hydration pouch from Stone. I kind of alternate between using a bladder and going with bottles. So when I'm not using this for a bladder, I just use it for kind of an organizational pouch. I may throw my water bottles in there to kind of keep them close to my back. And then normally I have one on the outside for easy access. And I also, I think we both, oh, you don't have any of the Stone possibles pouches?
I do not.
So I normally have 2 or 3 of them. I don't hook them in any of they've got a few spots in here where you can thread them, and
They're swing out
so,
pockets.
yeah, so they'll stay. Same with the camp bag and the hydration bag that go in there. I don't typically thread my possibles pouches or my kit pouches into the bag. I just strategically pack them to where I can reach in, and I know if I go to one side, it's gonna be one set of items.
Oh, and another thing on this lid, this is the biggest downfall for me for this lid. I hate that the zipper is on the bottom side. Because I had my EXO, the zipper was up here. It was so much easier to reach in there and stuff
the
things
top
in and
back,
out.
Yeah.
But in this mouth is small, but you can fit. I don't even know what the cubic inches in here, but you can just stuff.
Ungodly.
everything just keeps disappearing in here. I have, you know, other stuff I showed you, steri pin, and then I'll have some other stuff and a food bag in here, and I'm still throwing the
Beans.
camera, the batteries, and just everything, gloves. It's just stuff.
It just eats.
It just takes and takes and takes, which that's a nice feature. I just wish the zipper was on top, because having the XO, I was spoiled that way. It was amazing. It was a wider mouth, and the zipper was on top. That's my biggest gripe about this whole pack.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the way it carries and stuff, neither one of us have really messed with the Crux frame. We're both rocking the X Curve. It carries great. This bag compared to, let's say, the Mystery Ranch, the XO, I definitely notice more freedom of movement. So sometimes it kind of feels like it's flopping around on my back, but it's also more comfortable that way. But even with heavy loads, it feels like I have more freedom of movement, but it's still very well planted.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you know,
Well, and see,
feel stable.
my XO
Kind of
felt great too. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about the XO. I would run that bag still if I didn't have the problem I was having. I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or not. We might have. But in our 2023 bear hunt, I was having trouble hiking uphill, downhill. It didn't matter. With my loaded on my XO, it was pinching something in my hip, and it was sending a sharp pain down my thigh with every step I took, and it just became miserable. And I was like, when we got back home, I grabbed my wife's pack, loaded up with 100 pounds, went for a walk around the house, and went for a little hike or jog, just some extra stuff, and it just felt just carried better for me. I don't know what happened. I ran the XO since 2018 and had no problems, heavy loads, packing out animals, it didn't matter. And just all of a sudden, I don't know if my body changed or something in the pack changed, and I just switched to this, and I had a lot more slippage with the XO. I still get a little slippage with this. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Still working on
a little bit of pack slippage down the back, but it's just been night and day difference. And
the lumbar on this pack has a little foam.
Show them how it works. For those following along on YouTube.
If you tear it open, inside the lumbar, there is a little foam shim. Along with it, still got the padding in here, but this little shim, it fits in here, and you can adjust it up and down, and it makes it significantly changes how the lumbar pad bites into your back or doesn't. To the point, like for me, if I've got it all the way towards the top, it bites into my back so hard it actually hurts. And I don't know how it does it, because it's just a little 1/4 inch piece of foam, but it gives you a lot of options for trying to work around or mitigate the slippage and fine-tune comfort at the same time. Super easy to deal with. What else? Straps, pretty typical. I mean, easy adjustment. They just tear away in the Velcro. With that, you can angle them inwards or outwards to kind of fit a bigger spectrum of body types. You know, skinnier guys with broader shoulders.
And see, this is what's crazy about this pack. Like, I don't know if it's just Stone Glacier, the way they do it, or other. I've ran too many other besides Stone Glacier, XO. I've had a couple like Tenzings, Badlands, but the hip belts. This hip belt here, this hip belt fit my wife, which I don't really even know what you classify her as size, but these are both mediums. So then it fits me perfect. AJ fits him perfect.
I'm a short, stocky guy.
I'm a 32 waist.
34 waist.
And then our buddy Mo ran my wife's bag this bear season, her new one, to try it out before he bought one. And I think he's a 36 inch waist.
He's a 36 or 38. Yeah.
None of us ran out of adjustment or, tightening or, loosening. There was plenty of room. It's just, and with some other ones I've put on, it's like you get the size you need, and it's just you can't cinch it down big enough or small enough for size, the way my waist and hips are, and this has just been, I don't know what they're doing with it, but it's been working great.
The other thing too is compared to some of the belts like EXO, Kafaru, even Mystery Ranch, the padding on the hip belt seems a lot less substantial when you're feeling it and actually handling it. But when you're wearing it, it's not like too minimal, you know. It covers a good portion, gives a good contact pattern. They do have a dual, it's kind of hard to see if you're watching on YouTube here, but on the hip belt they have two 1-inch nylon pieces of webbing.
That I'm messing with right now.
Yeah, you can see it better on his because his isn't covered up. And you can individually adjust those again for comfort and to mitigate slippage. It works great. I mean, you can really it's
dial it.
definitely more of a fiddly pack, but yeah, you can dial this thing. I get why a lot of guys love them and that. I think some of that like floaty feeling too that I was mentioning earlier when you're under load. If you look at the way the shoulder straps are designed on this bag, this does not have like buckles or anything that locks these shoulder straps in. They're solely held on
by
Velcro and then the pressure
and the cross strap there. But
yeah, but you've got a lot of unattached fabric on the shoulder strap in the above where it actually cinches to the bag, so that kind of lends to that freedom of movement. The other thing, the frames are fairly narrow, so it's not, you know, some of the packs on the market, they've got a pretty wide frame to them, which if you're a bow hunter can impede in your draw and stuff like that. These things, you know, you can kick your shoulders back and kind of get around the frame of the pack as you're wearing it. So
yeah, and then we both run the little hip belt pouches. AJ's is the
I've got the large.
Mine's the small size.
Yep.
I just run, the only thing I really run in here, I'll run my headlamp and my truck keys. Just Peaks headlamp most time and my truck keys in there. Not really much else goes in there. Sometimes I might throw my ammo wallet in there when we're rifle hunting, but most of the time I'll just throw that in my pocket. So I run a small one, AJ runs a large one, my wife runs a large one.
I typically will throw my headlamp in here, maybe a small set of like just work gloves, something to keep the thorns out of my fingers or whatever. Always got to have snacks, so I'll throw gummy bears and honey stingers and whatever. In the pocket in both of these, I believe yours is the same way. It's got like a plastic sheet behind it.
It's an ammo holder.
Yeah, and it's got some stretchy webbing sewn in for popping ammo in. It also fits a chapstick really good. Generally, I'll throw maybe you know, the 2 or 3 rounds that I got to pull out of my gun when we're going in the truck. I'll throw those in that pocket, or I'll throw a few spare rounds in that pocket for access, and then ammo wallet I keep in my hood or attached to the side of my bag, easily accessible. So,
and if we didn't mention, this bag is a cinch top. It's not a roll top.
yes,
So I mean, it extends. It's got a cinch cord, and then you can push it down or put the lid on. And
yep.
I don't think we mentioned that.
No, we did not.
And then for another accessory, I run their Nalgene holder, their hip belt one. I like it. This is just a water bottle I run. It's not the water bottle it's just what I was drinking out of today. It's not the one I run when I'm hunting. But so I just threw that in there for reference, and it just sits right there on right on the hip belt. The little bungee to hold it in. That's nice. Before that, I was running their Hydro Sling. This number right here. So it, I don't remember exactly how it attached.
It hooks
But
in
it
down
hook- it
here
hooks-
into your shoulder strap.
Hooked into the shoulder strap and then something else, and that set here, and it just flopped around, which it wasn't that bad to walk around with and hike. But when you reached in, you pull it out, not a big deal. Getting it back in, if you're by yourself, it is a chore. You could almost never do it. I'd always have to have somebody else do it because this would just, no matter how tight I tied it, move around and flop. I'm pretty sure that's why they got rid of this. I don't even think they sell it anymore.
Or if you had the angle wrong too, you'd be hiking along and your bottle would ping off a rock.
Yeah, just bouncing off the stuff. And
Well,
I mean,
it'll fall out and hit the ground.
not that it was bad, this hydro sling, but I definitely prefer the hip belt one a lot better.
On my right side, the only thing I have on mine, I run a holster. I've got basically a hip belt mount. It's a Safariland's hip belt mount. A QLS setup, and
I guess let me grab mine.
then
Show 'em
I
what
can
run.
throw whatever holster I want and just kind of slide it into this giant, basically the QLS is a giant backpack buckle. I can just slide it in and I can switch out my holsters for whatever weapon I'm running. It's a little bit heavier of a setup as far as holsters go, but gives me a lot of versatility. I can also, with this, having this, the backpack buckle, the QLS mount, I can throw a different carry option that's got the female side attached to it. So like a paddle holster, I can just carry a paddle holster if I want, and that way when my bag comes off, I have a way to attach my gun to my waist or some sort of other carry method versus just being strapped to my pack, and that's the only option I have.
Yeah, I didn't realize I didn't have mine on there. Mine's an older one from when I was running my EXO. It's the ivory holster that they made for EXO packs, so it kind of fits the hip belt curve a little better. And I just run it right in front of that water bottle holder, right on those two straps. It's kind of nice because it's got a quick connect, so I can just open those up, thread them through, close them, and that's what I run 90% of the time. Not sure why it's off my pack right now, but I took it off for some reason.
I think you were having like an issue. It was bugging you or something. You could feel the
It always has, because
yeah. and
really
you just-
stuff's not made to go on your hip belt when they make these packs. Then they make all these accessories and a holster. I can feel the gun. Then after a long hunt, it'll kind of start to get sore, like it bruises, but it's not a big deal. Deal with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt me at all. Just sometimes, like if we're day hunting, I'll just take it off, and sometimes we're not. I mean, you don't really need a gun out there, but
Yeah.
just a habit.
One thing I will say about this bag, strap management, you know, when you got this thing compressed down, there's a lot of loose straps and stuff. You either deal with it, get some rubber bands and wind them up, or do some Velcro strap keepers. I just kind of, especially the ones for the bottom, I just kind of throw them in a loose knot to take up some slack, and that way they're not hitting me in the back of the knees because I'm a short guy.
I always want to run it wild and free.
Yeah. I don't know. I like that feature on my Mystery Ranch where I could like roll my straps up and get them out of the way and organize because it had built-in strap keepers and all that. But I'm trying to do a little bit more just because it's a lot nicer just to cinch it down and be done with it versus feel like you got to roll something up.
So, and this bag has no spotter pocket at all.
No, it doesn't have
So,
the asymmetrical bulge on it.
This front
It's-
pocket's just kind of a pocket that's straight zip. I'll
Yep.
either throw my spotter in there, or if I'm not running a spotter on the hunt, most of the time my puffy jacket goes in there. Or sometimes my puffy pants, I'll stuff them in there, and it's perfect little compression. I just unzip the top and start shoving them in there, and that works out great for me.
The other method is throwing the tripod on down the side and compression straps, and then we'll strap the spotter under the lid.
And it does have little side pockets, but they're kind of useless. And your side strap goes through there. You can run it through there so they tighten up. Or
So mine are
Not.
cinched up. They're not very tall. The side pockets aren't tall, but the one thing I do
they're not
appreciate.
good for water bottles.
I've never had a problem, but I run smart water bottles. The one thing I do appreciate about them though is a lot of bags when they're blown out, these side pockets are absolutely useless. You couldn't fit a piece of paper in. These ones have a little bit extra to them, and you are able to utilize them and put not a Nalgene, but generally you can fit some items in there. I've never had an issue. Like I typically keep a silky saw in one of mine, the little pocket boy. I've never had an issue with it trying to walk its way out or fall out. And then they do have a little cutout in the bottom that for like a trekking pole if you wanted to stick it through the bottom a little bit or something like that. Also,
And
the
the other,
lids have
yeah,
a hydration slot in them. I think
Yeah.
we forgot to hit on that you can throw your bladder in your lid if you wanted to. And
one
run
thing,
the hose
like
out.
AJ was talking about these pockets, like on the EXO I had, they were probably another 4 inches taller,
Yep.
and they were stretchy material. They were great,
Yeah.
great. But if that pack was fully bulged out, even that stretchy material just wrapped and got so tight that you couldn't even fit anything in there.
Yeah, you couldn't do nothing
So
with
I
it.
mean, it sucked when I tried running an Nalgene fully blown out, because I switched to Nalgenes, 3-4 years ago, and haven't ran a bladder since. It's had a couple bladder problems, and I just switched there. But do you want to show them how this load shelf works, since your pack's not full of crap?
Yeah, we can. Real quick, the other accessory I got, I haven't really got to put it to use yet. I just threw it on the pack after season, is a Go Hunt call pouch. It's just got a little snap, holds 4 elk diaphragms. You could probably double stack them and stuff more in there, but just a small little pouch for, some spare calls. So yeah, if you wanna.
Load shelf's pretty easy. The lid, same thing. Clip the tube, pop it back. It can be on still. Then it's got these 2 straps right here in the back for your load lifters.
Pop those.
Pop your load lifters, and then
I've got mine.
you gotta pop all your buckles on the side. Loosen this all the way. Your little side bottom ones. Pop that one. Loosen. Then on the inside of the pack, in between the shelf and the bag, you can kind of see it popping out here. No, that's not that one. No, it's on the very bottom here. There's a little little thing that runs north and south here on your pack. You gotta loosen that up. Right there on the very bottom by the side pockets on
It's
both sides.
identifiable by a gray buckle.
Yep,
versus
on both
everybody
sides.
else.
And then I guess you can unclip that too.
Yeah, because I got my bivvy on.
Oh, you got your bivvy mode too. So yeah, he's got more straps here. Those
I
ones
got 2
don't.
more on the top.
Those
that
ones
just
don't.
hold, kind of take up and eat slack in the top of the bag and suck it up.
Yep. And then
So.
you lift the bag off the frame. On both sides.
Yep. This one's attached.
And then your bag's open. You got your meat shelf here. You can loosen these little things,
Pull 'em
put your
out.
meat in there.
One thing I do, I keep my game bags in my load shelf. The way I look at it, the only time I'm gonna need my game bags is when I'm gonna need my load shelf. So I've got my kill kit. I just throw it in that little sling and cinch it down
Yeah.
and
Put the load in there, cinch them up, both sides. Then you can take the pack, and then you can buckle it all up, and it's got these cordage right here on the top, so you can put your load lifters there. So you're
And
not
then-
putting your bag back over it.
yeah, you don't slip your bag back over. It's got additional straps here
To hook up
that you would hook
to your old
bag.
load lifters on your bag.
Yep.
To pull those together tighter, then you actually use your load lifters. They've kind of thought it through pretty well, honestly.
Fairly simple system, quick to get to.
And the inside of it's all like
Expat is the material.
expat plastic. It washes blood off super well. You can't even tell.
Yeah, it's a waterproof fabric. It doesn't allow crap to soak in. Super durable fabric.
We'll cinch
Yeah.
this down in a minute. I mean, that's kind of the rundown, kind of our pros and cons. The only other different thing we didn't mention is since my pack's a little older, they did change the shoulder strap and hip belt material.
Yes.
So on the newer stuff, it's got a little more cushion and a little softer, slicker than mine. It's got this little. You don't even notice a difference. Maybe if you were shirtless.
Yeah, the jersey knit on yours it feels a little bit more durable and rough, but I haven't had any issues with mine. We've been running them about the same amount of time, same amount of wear, and they both get along have held up pretty good. We want to hit on stuff sacks real quick.
Yeah,
The
we
stealthy
can, yeah.
stuff sacks.
I'll grab mine out real quick.
Then we'll move into binos.
Yeah.
So one thing we kind of wanted to bring up on this, there's a bunch of different options on stuff sacks out there. We do like these stealthy hunter ones, but just one thing I wanted to bring to people's attention that I didn't realize when I bought my first one, actually my first two. So the Stealthy Hunter stuff sacks are a different stretchy material depending on which color you get. The gray one,
I'm not sure why that is.
I don't know either. The gray one feels a little bit more stiff of a material. It doesn't have near as much flex in it. Definitely feels like a more durable material. The black and the gray one I know for sure. I don't know about the tan one. But when we got these colored ones, the red and the orange, this material is almost like yoga pants.
Yeah,
a
more
chick's
like
yoga pants. It's super stretchy.
Like a
And,
spandex.
I mean, these things just blow out, and they just take all kinds of stuff in them.
Yeah, and I think
But
the difference with color, kind of what AJ does, is orange, his kill kit. Red,
yeah,
I think I got you.
well, my orange. This is my possible pouch.
Oh, because I got
My
you a red one too.
Red's
So,
medical.
for our medical, because I mean it's so much nicer, lighter than a first aid bag, and you can
Yeah.
just stuff and stuff and stuff. And
We're both big fans of kind of put together your own medical kit versus buy something pre-made that's got 80 band-aids and 400 Q-tips and a bunch of crap that isn't necessarily useful in the backcountry. So we'll get into some of that maybe in another video.
for sure, we need to do something like
So.
that. The next thing we're getting into is our bino harness. That's another thing, we always on us. We're in the woods. Backpack,
Yep.
99% of the time, my backpack's on whether we're doing a day hunt, 5-minute walk or not, because I don't know why. That's just what I do, the way I am. It's always in there. But we're running the same bino harness. This is the Kuiu Pro bino harness.
I think our last video we were both running the Alaska Guide Creation.
I
And
don't think so.
I know I was, but we switched because we live in the Pacific Northwest,
And that is not waterproof.
waterproofness was kind of important to
And you'd
us.
think Alaska Guide Creations would be a waterproof vinyl harness.
It was not. I took mine, I soaked it in silicone spray, and it definitely helped. And it's a good harness. I got nothing really bad to say about it other than the fact that, being in rain all day and then you go to pull your binos out and they're fogged up and soaked and everything else. With that said, we have had where these have failed us too. So
Well, and they're waterproof, but they're a
Yeah, they're-
clamshell lid. So when you get wet, it gets wet. The back gets wet. It starts trickling into the fabric on the inside. Everybody who's out there knows that if something's waterproof, you're still gonna get wet no matter what. Especially if you're not taped like rain gear. If you're not taping up your sleeves and your pant legs and your neck, I mean, you're still eventually gonna get wet. Water's gonna slowly seep its way through. And that's just what it is. It never gets soaked in there. We just
no,
get
I've
damp.
never had standing water or anything. The Alaska Guide Creations you could physically wring out.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is because we're both running this new phone holder they came out with last year, and the phone holder is great. It's waterproof, it's got a little pocket on the front.
That's a
We're like, great,
rangefinder.
it's a rangefinder. It's even got a tether cord for it. That pocket is not waterproof at all. That is my biggest gripe
Yeah.
with the phone holder. And even then, Kuyu's rangefinder holder had holes in it and wasn't waterproof either. So
Yeah, it wasn't a full.
I don't know why they're not doing something, because I've had instances where my rangefinder's fogged and I couldn't get a range, and I'm archery hunting because it's wet and foggy, and it's kind of frustrating. I don't know how they're going to do about that, but this phone holder's just been amazing.
I think their solution is their new kit that's got the built-on pockets.
yeah, but that thing's huge. But
It's massive. Yeah. So
this is small, lightweight, fits tight to you. It's not saggy and floppy like a bunch of other bino harnesses.
don't cut into your neck.
Yeah, the harness is comfortable. We've ran almost every harness on the market, and so far this is our favorite. Besides, we haven't ran the Marsupio yet.
No, we haven't played with that one. Phone holder pocket, you know, it's 2 pockets. Inside the main pocket, there's a little mesh bungee that works great for small items, you know, throwing a tag wallet in or whatever. I've got a little, what I call a bitch sticker
I
kit.
got a phone charger in there.
Yeah, a little Band-Aid kit in mine, so.
Yeah, it's got a waterproof zipper slit. Like I said, that works great. It's just a rangefinder pocket. It's just literally like a stretch pocket, and it's just, and then the zipper is just cloth. It just sucks, honestly.
Yeah.
I wish they had fixed that.
This thing does not have any sort of pocket, pouch, or anything behind where it sits up against your chest. In the very front of it, they put this tiny little zipper pocket that is absolutely useless.
You can get your tags in there, but you can't hardly ever get them out because they're so tight.
I keep my tags in a tag wallet in there, and I like to have my tags in my bino harness just because, you know, gamey stops you. You can. I like to have them fairly accessible. So even that, it's kind of a chore to get them out, but you can kind of get the tag wallet in and there, in and out of it. It's just a fight, especially if you got bigger fingers. It's got the 2 stretchy side pockets.
Yeah, the side pockets are nice. I mean, they could be a little taller, but they fit a windicator real nice, as you see, so it works out pretty good.
Yep, different size bottles. On my right side stretchy pocket of that, I keep a windicator and a lens pen.
I mean, the pocket's a pretty good size. I say that, but like
Yeah.
on the right side, I got my windicator. On the left side, I got a lens pen, my custom molded earplugs, a predator call. Okay, and that's it. That's all I have for the pockets.
So on my left side, I've got my molded earplugs. Generally, I'll keep 1 or 2 calls in there. And that's about all I keep in there. Every now and again, I will toss my headlamp in there as well. I've got just a Nikkor NU 25 headlamp, so it's a tiny little thing that I like to run, and I can throw it in there and it fits. And then I run it's an Amazon, just kind of skeletonized water bottle holder. It's basically a couple pieces of nylon. I don't even know what the name is. Spanker Tactical, and it's just a adjustable little water bottle holder. I like to keep water on my person, and I haven't, you know, I've always got a pack on, so like a Slurpee stalker or something that clips to the back of this thing just really isn't an option. So I generally will either run a 6 or a 17 ounce GSI Microlight in this little holster on the left strap, or I'll put in a like 16 to 20 ounce smart water bottle, and that way I've always got a little bit of water on my persons.
Then I run my calls on my bino harness because it's always on me, never comes off. So it's got my little Phelps call with some melt calls in there. And then I guess we could talk about it. Really forgot. Like in the rangefinder pouch, I think we're both running the same thing. Nothing too expensive. Just
Yep.
the Leopold RX 1400 TBR. I mean, I found for $200, and I haven't found a rangefinder that beats it. It's just been an amazing little rangefinder for the few years I've been running it.
I keep a lot more crap in this bino harness than most people would think. I've got the same rangefinder in that pocket. I have a Brunton compass tied off on the little grab handle for the lid. I just like to have a compass on me. So, and then peel the lid down. And then what do you got inside there?
Inside, all I got is my Mavens, my B14 Mavens, or B1 Mavens, 10x42s. Good piece of glass. I've had them for, I don't even know what, 5 years now? 4 years? Something like that. I mean,
yeah.
I love them. That's the only thing I run in my bino harness. I'm a big 10x42 guy. I've thought about getting bigger binos. And then I always think, well, why did you buy a spotter?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of the way I am. I mean, maybe because they're a lot of money too, but.
I run 10x42s as well.
Oh, that's the other
same
thing.
reason. You don't run
So I don't
the
run.
tether.
I don't run the tether. I hate it. I hate when someone doesn't have their binos or wants to see through my binos. I hate unclipping my things and giving them to them, and it reminds me to close it because with the tether too. I used to not close my bino harness. Then I lean over and they fall out, and so I just don't run the tether anymore. So it's just muscle memory now. They go in, it gets closed. It's always closed, keeping dirt, dust, water out all the time.
So for me, I do run the tether. A lot of times I only clip one side of it just so I can kind of turn, and I don't generally put my binos on a tripod or anything. I tend to use my bow or my my walking stick for a stabilization device for this. The binos I got are the Leopold BX4 Pros. I've had good luck with them. I like them a lot. They're pretty solid, pretty clear, good low light binos. I also keep, so this is where I start putting a lot more crap in my bino harness than Kevin has. So this bino harness, I believe, will take up to 12 or 15s. So
Yeah.
there's quite a bit of real estate in there.
And it is modular for those that don't know. On
Yes.
the bottom here, it's got a Velcro and a couple clips here. You can put like like an ammo holder. They have a holster you can get a clip on
They
to
got an
it.
accessory pouch.
And an accessory pouch. I think that's kind of the
I think
gist
they got
of
a
it.
bear can.
Oh yeah, a bear spray
Yep.
canister holder.
So I'll also keep a lens cloth at the bottom of mine. Inside the Kuiu Pro, when you get it, there's like 3 or 4 different pieces of foam, a couple different thicknesses, and it works as a stacking shim. So you can kind of get your binos higher, have them set lower in the harness. I run one. And the reason I do that, my binos are pretty small, so instead of running more pieces of foam that are going to be useless to me, I use the bottom of my bino harness as a kind of an unscrewed kit, an emergency kit. And I keep stuff in there that I feel is going to be relevant in the situation. So, like, I got a Ziploc here, there's a Mylar blanket in it, I got a couple of McDonald's straws that are packed full of cotton balls soaked in motor oil, a couple pieces of tinder, and a couple balloons just for an emergency water container or to carry a little bit extra water, and I got some Aquamira tabs in there. And then I also keep a bit of flagging tape, earplugs, because this guy snores like hell and I can never find my earplugs, and you can never have too many foamies if you need them, if you're rifle hunting. A mini Bic, and a little emergency whistle. So all that crap fits in the bottom of this thing. And then I throw that piece of foam over the top. And my binos sit in here, just flush with the top.
And his sit about the same as mine, and I think I have all the pieces of foam in there.
Yeah. So,
And mine are taller binos.
just something I haven't really seen too much as far as like tips and tricks. You know, I'm a big fan of a minimalist footprint and a minimalist bino harness because I don't like this big old chest pack hanging off of me, but I still want to carry some stuff, and that's one way you can do it. So, anything else?
No, I think that about covers it. That's kind of what we wanted to go over today with you guys, just kind of showing what we run on, you know, I guess the outside of our packs, or what packs we run in the bino harness. Kind of two essential things: your
Yeah.
pack and your bino harness.
Yep.
You can go in the woods in blue jeans and a t-shirt and kill, but if you don't have the gear on you to do it, what's it worth it? So
Yeah, I mean, you got to carry something. So, I think you know, containment and the ability to store stuff is kind of one of the most important aspects of going out there.
yeah, we're kind of just showing you what our favorite is. We've ran several different packs, several different bino harnesses, and these are what we've settled on right now as our favorite.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, we're not up against when something else comes out, testing it whatsoever. Like, we're those kind of guys that's like, oh look, a new piece of gear, let's buy it and try it. Is it better than what we have, or is it not?
right. And so far, I mean, I would like to get my hands on the marsupial. The only thing that I see that I think this Kuyu might have a little bit of an edge on is its overall footprint. It's just,
They're about close, I think.
but yeah, so that's kind of it. That's what we got.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube and then listening to the podcast on any platform you decide to listen to it on, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.
Yep.